Following Pierre Gasly's speeding incident in the Japanese GP last weekend, Formula One drivers have emphasized how difficult it is to drive a car slowly in rainy circumstances. At the conclusion of the opening lap, the safety car was deployed due to Carlos Sainz's mishap. After encountering debris that had been left on the track after Sainz's accident, where the tractor was attending to it, Gasly had to pit at the end of the lap for a new nose. When the red flag was raised, he was still in shock over seeing the crane on the circuit and was relaying the issue to his crew when race control saw the speed he was maintaining as he drove back to the pits. Speeding while the flag is in the red has traditionally been considered a serious offense and is penalized as such. At the conclusion of the opening lap, the safety car was deployed due to Carlos Sainz's mishap. The stewards noted, after passing the scene of the incident, Car 10 continued under the red flag situation, at speeds which exceeded 200 km per hour on multiple occasions, and which reached 251 km per hour at one point. The driver conceded that he now understood that there could have been marshals or obstacles on the track and admitted that he was too fast. Before the specifics of the punishment were made public, some of Gasly's fellow drivers emphasized that maintaining the temperature in wet tires is a significant problem and encourages them to go quickly when the race is neutralized. "Totally supporting Pierre," said Fernando Alonso. "We are in the car, we know the speed we are doing, we know when we are in control. What we don't expect is to see a tractor on the circuit, so that's something that nothing to blame Pierre." Nicholas and Daniel Ricciardo concurred that driving F1 vehicles in the wet at moderate speeds is challenging. "The cars aren't that much safer when we go slow in these conditions, because you lose temperature," said the Australian. Nicholas noted, "Even at that safety car speed, you're still on the limit with the grip because the tires are just not good rain tires. These cars are not made to go slow." What happens next? The investigation's primary goal will be to determine how a recovery car was permitted onto the track under those conditions, and any lessons learned will be used to improve future race control policies or rule interpretations. Everyone involved in the sport is aware of how dangerous Sunday's near miss was, given the apparent analogies to Bianchi's catastrophe in 2014. It needs a full investigation into it, because after the tragedy of Jules Bianchi, that is something you never want to see again, Red Bull team principal Christian Horner said. "I'm sure the FIA will do a full investigation, but recovery vehicles like that should never be on the track when cars are running around." Another concern is whether a standing start rather than a safety car start should have been permitted for the race. 2 hours later, racing resumed behind the safety car, which was also a choice for race control before to the scheduled start. "I think as first, should we have started the race standing start or should we have started behind the safety car at first?" Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto said. "I think behind the safety car would have been certainly safer, and safety should have always been put in that first position." The issue had been raised in the driver's briefing with Freitas on the Friday before the race after a recovery vehicle had been released onto the circuit in Singapore a week earlier while drivers were behind the safety car on slick tires in wet conditions. The Grand Prix Drivers Association's director and Mercedes driver George Russell suggested that recovering automobiles completely be rethought, especially in wet weather. "There are no circumstances in which we are happy to see a tractor on track," Russell said. "There is a lot of talk about Pierre driving too fast, but that's irrelevant. There were 17 other cars on track and none of us passed that tractor and saw a lot of what was going on, because you obviously had to move out of the spray to get a clear view and then you're in line with the tractor. Especially in wet conditions, in the wet, intermediate or drying, there is no circumstances in which having a tractor on track is acceptable. In our view it is pretty straightforward, no tractors on track. And if you need a tractor on track, red flag it." There's talks of him doing 250 km per hour. "I think people are forgetting these F1 cars go 330 km per hour. And 250 km per hour in our world isn't high speed." What are your thoughts on the circumstance that led to Pierre Gasly's incident? Please like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video.